one is high level programming language and second one is low level programming language. So in case of programming languages, when we are discussing about the level of an programming language, that is programming language is splitted or divided into two parts based on the conversion or writing the code which is feasible, applicable, more convenient to the machine. Okay. And the programming tool, programming software or devices, whether they are needs that particular or specific machine, specific system or not. So based on that, these languages are divided into high level and low level. If we are considering the high level language, in that case, these languages are machine independent. That is, if we are consider that if we write and code to that some particular machine or computer, run for any of the computer. So in that case, we will say that that particular programming software or programming language is machine independent. That is, here I have mentioned that C, C++, Java, some of them are, these are the high level languages. So they are not as machine specific or machine dependent. But in case of, we'll see the assembly level language, ALP. Okay. So in this case, ALPs are depends on the specific system, specific controller. So as per the library functions or libraries added, according to that, these are working. That is for that purpose only or for that machine only. And if we want to change the machine or change the controller, in that case, you have to make some modifications or complete instructions may be changed. So it is not possible to use that particular code as it is to the different machine or different controller in case of assembly language. And in case of general C, C++, it is feasible to run on any system or any computers, any machine. We simply said that the machine. So assembly language programs are considered as a low language programs, and C, C++, Java are called as a high level languages for the programming, or programs are called as a high level programming structures. But these two languages having their own advantages and disadvantages. So based on that, we will see. So first we see the high level programming, that is machine independent, easy to learn, easy to use. That is, as they have not machine specific, we can run these programs at any locations, anywhere, and any system, through any system. So it is convenient for the user, okay, to control or manage or modify the content from that specific program. So the names are C, C++, Java. After that, we see the next ALP, assembly language programming concepts. So in this case, here these languages are machine specific, or here machine in the sense of controller. So we consider that these are the controller specific languages. So if we write an ALP for 8051, which is not compatible for ALP in PIC microcontroller, so you have to use the different instructions for performing same task in the PIC microcontrollers, or vice versa. So when we consider or discuss related to the ALPs, so concepts are different. Concepts are different. So you have to modify the complete program or complete statements, complete instructions. So these languages are generally considered as a low level language, but additional advantage is that low level languages are directly attached to the machine, which will be feasible to execute the program faster. Okay. So in case of high level languages, it is necessary to use some compilers. After that compiling process, it will generate a machine code, which is executable by a machine. Okay. But in case of assembly language programs, it will directly converts into the machine code or machine language digits or numbers, we simply say that the hex code in case of our case. Okay, so which is directly converted, and it will take some less time as compared to the high level languages. So in case of high level language, we consider as a compiler, and in case of assembly language programming, we consider as a assembler. So compilation process takes some more time as compared to the assembly process. So as per the requirement of time consumption, assembly language program takes less time as compared to the high level language, that is C or C++. But it has also some drawbacks related to the modification of codes. So in case of assembly language program, it is critical to modify some contents, and for each function you have to write the specific instructions, and some of the instructions are limited, so beyond that we cannot go for the further enhancement. So as instructions are predefined and specific. So just a minute. Okay, sorry, one faculty is coming. So in case of assembly language, if we want to modify the contents or modify the some data or some function in assembly language, so it is tedious or hectic job as compared to the C language program. But C language program takes more time for execution, as well as C language programs take memory size is also more as compared to the assembly instruction. That is, memory consumption for writing and program is more in case of C language, but in case of assembly, the size of code for the same application or same function is somewhat less as compared to the C language. But modification, that is after some changes, it is tedious or hectic job in case of ALP, but it is easier in case of C language. So uh, in case of 8051 programming, intermediate path is predefined. That is, instead of using plain C, which is not capable for developing an 8051 code, so we go for the embedded C platform. In this case, the basic concepts of C language are taken as it is, and some of the SFRs or libraries are taken. Some of the SFRs or libraries are taken as per the requirement. That is, hash include 8051.h or pick.h, like this. Okay, so these are the specific functions or header files library functions which are responsible for execution upon that 8051 based code. So embedded C is a combination of C, that is normal C, you have studied. Embedded C is combination of normal C along with the SFRs used or available in that specific controller. If we consider the 8051, pick, and further, okay, LPC, that is R. So as per the requirement, we have to choose our controller and their header files, that is library function. So after that, we see here same in case of low level language programming, machine dependent, and it is based on the mnemonics and operands, that is source operand, destination operand, or single operand. And one more field is that label. So program counter will jump to that particular memory location as per mentioned in the label field, that is SJMP up is the label, move next, sorry, call delay. So a call delay or call delay. So delay is your label. So it will jump to the delay function and it will execute the delay. And after that, returning from that particular function by mentioning RET instruction, that is return. It will again come to the main program. Okay. So this related to the assembly language program, that is low level language. And we see why we prefer the ALP. So as we have discussed that whenever we talking about the speed of execution or operation speed by comparing with C language, so ALP gives better speed, that is speed of execution is more in case of ALP, so instructions are executed faster. Again, another advantage is its code size is less as compared to the C language. If we consider the same application or same function which will be executed through ALP language or executed through C language, controller is same, suppose 8051, but required program size is less. After that, to write the programs for special situations or specific conditions. In that case, 8051 with ALP gives better performance as compared to the C in special cases. So it is mentioned. And to save the money in concern to the, if your code size is less, required size is less, in that case you need not to interface an external memory, or again it is required, then its size is less. Suppose in case of C programming, you required 8 KB interfacing of ROM, external interfacing 8 KB, but in case of ALP, it may sufficient for 4 KB. So as cost is concerned, we may say that the cost reduction may possible with the help of ALPs. So after that, some of the advantages are also applicable for the C language, or we, instead of saying only C, we say that the embedded C. So in case of embedded C, modification of code is efficient or easier as compared to the ALP. This is most important in concern to the making changes while we are testing the codes for various applications. So it is very convenient for the user to modify the code as per the requirement. So whenever we make some take first trial, first prototype model, after that some modifications are there. In that case, we again modify the code as per the requirement whenever required, that is IO pins or functions, timers, whatever the applications are there. So it is convenient. This is the main and most important advantage of a C, that is embedded C over the ALP. That's why nowadays user mostly prefer C language, so it is convenient for the user. But if your concern related to the cost, in that case we will go for the ALP. So as I have already mentioned you, some of the advantages are belonging to the ALP and some of the advantages are belonging to the C, but you have to select or choice as per your requirement. So before writing and program, some steps need to be followed. So some of the steps are: first, before writing the code or program, you have to identify the problem statement. So based on the problem statement, you have to design your system along with the software, that is code. So initially, before going in detail, you have to first understand the complete problem statement in which all the requirements are given, that is how many switches are required, how many buzzers are required, how many displays are required, the duration of the display message, then gap, on time, off time of the display, buzzer on time, off time, or any other parameters associated with that particular system. So in a problem statement, all these requirements need to be specified with specific time interval or in concern to the size and other parameters as per the requirement, that is display, which displays need to be displayed, 7-segment LCD and the size of LCD, bar graph display, whatever. So as per the requirement, you have to take or collect first requirement, and then you have to go for the second step, that is writing an algorithm in case of program code. So before writing directly code, you should go with the algorithm. So algorithm is nothing but you have to write the steps or execution sequence step by step. After first, what will be the next? After second, what will be the next? After third, what will be the next? And if some steps are having a repetitive action, that is again it will start from step number 2, again it will start from step number 5, or it may directly jump to the step number 12, like that. So for this purpose you have to go for flowchart. That is, flowchart is a graphical representation. Whatever the sequence you have followed in flow algorithm, so this sequence is mentioned in flowchart with the marking arrows, either in upward direction, either in downward direction. Some test box is there, that is diamond. If condition is satisfied, where it is go, if not, where it is go. So execution is depends on the some condition. In that case, yes or no condition is there, so you have to mark yes condition, you have to mark no condition. Okay, so flowchart indicates the graphical representation and sequence. So first you have to go for the algorithm. So if steps, if plain steps are there, then flowchart is simple. Okay, first, then next, then next, then next. Okay, but in case of repetitive steps, that is where some condition is satisfied, or if it is satisfied, go for execution of ISR 1. If it is not, then go execution of ISR 2, like this. So in this case, flowchart will help you to understand better, and according to that you have to draw and flowchart. And after the flowchart you have to check the various parameters associated with that particular system, that is various flags, various variables, some constants, or some checklist is there through which we are able to identify or separate out some section of program or part of the program. So test points are there, we simply say that the test points are there. So this is the program development steps. So first is problem statement, in which all the requirement related to input output parameters with specification of their, we further say that the requirement of current and, that is power also, current and voltage also, so that we are able to select the various parameters, that is driving parameters. After that, after finalization of circuit diagram and component selection, we go for the algorithm. So algorithm, in that you have to write the stepwise procedure, which operation is executed first and in the sequence, first, second, third, and repetitive states. For that again go for flowchart. And lastly, you have to analyze the checklist defining the various variables, constant, flags, which flags need to be identified. Suppose we are working on the external interrupt, so you have to set the, that is enable the external interrupt, their priority, that is if you want to high, then make it high from IP, and before that you have to enable from IE with global enable, like this. So you have to analyze the various parameters before starting the code. So these are the steps related to the program development. Is it clear to you? Hello?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir, clear.
Okay. So if it is clear, we go for the next. So initially we go with the ALP, that is assembly language programs. After that we go for the C language program. So in this case, some instructions are given while writing the assembly language program. Some of them are in general instructions mostly used. So when we consider the ALP, that is when we go with the kill and opening the program, that is text window with ALP assembly, or our file is saved dot ASM, that is add.asm, or some other operation blink.asm. So in this case, the number of characters available in a single line are 255, that is 0 to 255. But here one thing is mentioned, that if you make one space, it will be considered as a one character, that is total available space in a single row is 255. Okay. And second thing related to the ALP programming is that each statement or instruction should be started with a symbol, that is we simply say that the mnemonics of an instruction or label. Here mnemonics, label, and directives are the most important. So with the help of these three parameters we are able to write an instruction or program in ALP, that is Suppose we start with the org00h. So here org is your directives, assembly directives, as we have already discussed. It is an pseudo instruction or not an instruction, but it is a directive. So it will start with directive. After that, suppose move a call, that is move a comma r2, a call delay, after that dj injured. So what are the instructions are there, that is mnemonics are there. And after that, if you want to repeat the steps, again sjmp up. Here up is the label, and again it will assign, or sjmp down, it will assign at the starting line of an instruction. So before mnemonics it will appear somewhere label, that is up and move, suppose. So up is the label. So all the instructions are covered, or ALP program covering these three categories, that is directive, org or end, mnemonics, normal instructions, move, call, djnz, cjne, like this, and label. So where PC is to be pointed. So labels up, down, here. So these are the some labels which are used for programming or writing an ALP. So after that, next is related to the comments. So whenever we mention the semicolon, and after that whatever we want to write, so all these statements or words considered as comments, and they will be not executed by an assembler. So whenever you want to add some additional information related to that particular instruction, that is, if we say that move a comma r2, so if you want to mention in detail, that is contents of r2 are copied, loaded into the a register, so this will be comes under the comment section, and before writing this statement you have to make semicolon mark. Okay, so this is the third step. And fourth one is all labels instructions must be separated at least by one space. लेबल्स आणि याच्यामध्ये एका तरी स्पेसचा डिस्टन्स असायला पाहिजे, म्हणजे आफ्टर रायटिंग अप मेक अ वन स्पेस and then write the next mnemonics, whatever, or sjmp space up, like this, not sjmp up successively. So these are the some standard or normal guidelines related to the writing ALP programs. This is clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So after that we go with the comparison, that is ALP and C language. So as we have already discussed, the ALP is a low level we considered as, and C is a high level. After that, ALP is a machine dependent programming language, that is controller dependent. Here we consider the controller dependent. And in case of C language, it is independent to the machine. We can run through any machine whatever the code is written. Okay. After that, we cannot port the ALP over various platforms. That is, when we design or write a code for a specific controller, specific system, it is not applicable for the other system. But in case of C or C++, it is feasible to work on the other platforms also, as they are the machine independent languages. Then code optimization is not possible or less as compared to the C language in case of ALP. So C language or C compilers generally optimize better as compared to the assemblers. Okay, so this is the advantages of C language over the ALP. And next, execution of instruction is faster in ALP as compared to the C. But, and again one more is size is also less as compared to the C, but modification of a code is done in C language, which is better or somewhat easier as compared to the ALP. Okay, so making changes or making modification in code is better, and this is the most important application over the ALP language. Due to this, nowadays C is most preferable. So after writing some lines, if we are considering 10, 20, 50 lines, it is feasible to make a changes in ALP. But in case of code size is more than 1K, 2K or others, in that case, modification is critical in ALP, but it is easier in case of C language. Okay. And if we consider the software development cost, so in case of C language, it is less, as we have already discussed, the it is machine independent. So we can use anywhere or various machines. But in case of ALP, if we develop code or software which will be feasible for only that particular software and which is not applicable for the other machines. Okay, so these are the some comparison points related to the ALP and C, or low level and high level programming languages. Okay, after that we go for why we use the 8051 code or design a program in C language. So most important is, as I have already discussed you, that is programming in ALP is tedious, somewhat critical, and also it takes more time for write and code. But in case of C programming, it is easier to modify and writing the codes as various functions from C language as it is taken for embedded C, that is for, do, while, switch. So these are the some basic functions. They are already taken as it is. Again, if we see that some specific functions or subroutine functions like delay, interrupt, we will write the code separately for the different functions in case of C language programming. So it is easier to the user or programmer to understand the function wise programming or how it works. So it is easier in C programming. Also, whenever we go for the formation or generation of hex file, so if we consider the hex file generated through C programming and hex file generated to the ALP programming, so size produced by C is less as compared to the size produced by ALP, that is hex file 0101, that is hexadecimal numbers. So whatever the instructions or programs are written, each instruction is converted into the hex file, that is executable file, machine level file, so that C generates somewhat less size of an hex file as compared to the ALP. And as I have already told, modification and updation is easier and portable also. So in case of 8051 program, we cannot use C directly, but we consider as a embedded C, that is functions of an normal C are taken as it is, and some of the special functions, that is SFRs and library functions of 8051 are taken. So to design and code for embedded system is very easy or easier task as compared to the ALP. So this is regarding the theoretical part or concepts related to the programming in assembly as well as in C. After that, we will go for the actual programs related to the ALP, and after completion of ALP programming, we will go for the C programming. Okay. So C data types. So whatever the data types are used in case of C language programming, they are mentioned here. That is character, signed, unsigned, integer, signed, unsigned. Here, these four are the normal data types used in C also, normal C. But here yes bit, which is special used in 8051 or controller programming, that is SFR's bit addressable. Single bit is access. After that bit, that is bit from RAM, bit addressable again. If we consider bit and S bit, which will be responsible for modification in single bit only. And after that SFR. So if we use this data type, we are able to access or modify the contents of SFRs. Some of the SFRs are available in 8051. So for this purpose, we are preferring SFR. Okay. So these are the data types related to the C